Okay, Unit 5, Lesson 1. Okay, your skills maintenance is on page 189. Go ahead, pause the video, and work on that page. All right, so for skills maintenance today, we are substituting a value into a variable and then solving. So number 1 there, it says solve 10 times z if z is equal to 4. So that is saying we're doing 10 times 4, which gives us 40. For number 2, you got x minus 15, where 39 is equal to x, so 39 minus the 15, which will give us 24. Number 3, 72 divided by n, which n is 8. So 72 divided by 8, which is 9. W plus 95, where W is 16, so that's saying 16 plus 95, which will give us 111. Okay, and then for number 5, 6 times m, where m is 7, that's saying 6 times 7, which is 42. And then finally, number 6, you got 112 divided by 4, which will be, let's go ahead, let's write this one out. 112 divided by 4, 4 goes into 11 2 times, and we get 8. When we subtract, we will get 3, bring down that 2. 4 times 8 is 32, so 28. So we will get 28 for our answer there. All right, so that is our skills maintenance. Okay, so for the objective for today, I'll evaluate expressions using the order of operations. Now, we will be using an acronym to help us with our order of operations, and it is called PEMDAS. Okay, PEMDAS. Okay, P represents parentheses, E represents exponents. Okay, we'll worry about those later on in this unit. The ones I'm more worried about is MD, AS. Okay, MD, that is representing multiplication and division, and then AS is representing addition and subtraction. Those are what we will concentrate on today. Okay, now one thing we need to know, we've talked about this already, the difference between numeric expressions. Okay, what you notice, we have an expression again. There's no equal sign, so that is an expression, and all we see is numbers. The other type of expression we have is algebraic. Again, no equal sign. Algebraic meaning we're going to have some type of variable in there, so that in those cases, they are algebraic expressions. Okay, so when we evaluate numeric expressions, okay, all we see is subtracting and adding. In these cases, all you have to do is work from left to right. So when we do this one, we're going to do 4 minus 1 first, which will give us 3, which and then 3 plus 2. 3 plus 2 will give us 5. Okay, so make sure you are working from left to right. Okay, so we got 5. Now, another way people I see do this is they do that 1 plus 2 first. Okay, if you do that 1 plus 2, that's saying you're getting that 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. Okay, you cannot just choose the way you want to do this. Okay, when you get this and it's just adding and subtracting, you have to work from left to right. As you can tell, if you don't, you get 2 different answers, and only one of them is correct. And in this case, the 5 was correct. Okay, so if adding and subtracting is all that is in the numeric expression, you work from left to right. Okay, so our levels of thinking now when we're doing this, because again, we have an order of operations. There's a specific order we need to do this in. First level that we're going to work with is multiplication and division. You always work with your multiplying and dividing first. Okay, perform multiplication and division first. If there are many operations of multiplication and division in one expression, evaluate them in order from left to right. Again, work from left to right. And in this case, we're going to work with multiplication and division first. Okay, once we do all our multiplication and division, then we move to the adding and subtracting. And then the same idea there. Okay, once we get to the adding and subtracting step, you work from left to right in order. So in this case, we have a numeric expression. Okay, I see division, division, and multiplication. Okay, all I have is multiplication, division, which is our first level. But again, we do not pick the order in which we do it. We have to work from left to right. So in this case, we would do 20 divided by 2 first, because that is the first operation that comes up from left to right. which we get 10. So then we got the divided by 2 times 9. And again, just keep working from left to right. 10 divided by 2, we'll get 5 times 9. And then finally, when we do 5 times 9, we will get that 45. Okay, so again, it was all multiplication division, so we just work from left to right. And there's a little neater way of doing it. Okay, so expression 2 now. Okay, we got 10 minus 2 times 4 divided by 2 plus 1. Okay, again, we have our levels of thinking. We have to do our multiplication and division first, so we have to do these first. But, again, we have to work from left to right, so the 2 times 4 needs to happen first. So we're not going to do anything with the 10 minus. 2 times 4, we're going to get 8 there. Then we have divided by 2 plus 1. Again, we have to work through all the multiplication division, so we have to do 8 times 2. So then we got 10 minus 4 plus 1. Now what we have left, no more multiplication division, so now we can move on to adding and subtracting. Again, from left to right, so 10 minus 4, we get 6 plus 1, which will be 7. Okay, so when we evaluate that numeric expression, we should get 7. If you do not follow those orders of operations, you probably will not get that. If you do, it will be based on luck. Okay, so make sure you know your order of operations. Okay, page 190, apply skills. Go ahead and work on that page. Okay, so now that we're back, again, looking at our numeric expressions, look for multiplication division first. When I look at this one, dividing, multiplying, dividing, it's all multiplication division, so we're just going to work from left to right. And the first one I'm going to do is going to do the 25 divided by 5, which will give us 5. Then we got times 8 divided by 4. So then from there, again, just work from left to right. 5 times 8, we're going to get 40 divided by 4. Finally doing that, we will get 10. So we should get 10 when we evaluate that expression. For number 2, okay, subtracting, adding, subtracting, all adding and subtracting, so we're just going to work from left to right. 15 minus 7, we will get 8. Okay, and then we got plus 8 minus 2. Again, just working from left to right. 8 plus 8, we get 16. Minus that 2, 16 minus 2, we will finally get 14 for that one. All right, number 3 then. Okay, adding, multiplying, subtracting. Again, our first level of thinking for PEMDAS is multiplication and division. So we need to do the 4 times 7 first. So the 5 plus those next values does not change. 7 times 4, we get 28. Minus that 19. Now all that's left is adding and subtracting. So we will do the adding first, which will give us 33 minus that 19. Finally subtracting that, we will get 14. Okay, so 14 is what we should get when we evaluate that numeric expression. Number 4 then. Okay, subtracting, adding, multiplying, dividing. Okay, I need to do my multiplying, dividing first. The 6 times 6 comes up first, so I got to worry about that. So we're going to have 26 minus 9 plus 6 times 6, which will give us 36 divided by 4. Then I will need to do the 36 divided by 4. 26 minus 9 plus 9. Okay, then from there, adding, subtracting. 26 minus 9, which we will get 17 plus 9, and finally adding that up, again, gets us to that 26 when we evaluate that expression. All right, that is our order of operations and our apply skills. Okay, so for a problem-solving activity, we're going to analyze 3D shapes. Okay, so definitions, 3D, okay, that is just saying three-dimensional. Okay. Up to this point, you've dealt with 2D shapes where we had length times width, but now we're going to add a third dimension of height. Okay, a base, that's going to be when we look at three-dimensional shapes. Okay, we got one here, it's a cube. Okay, cube, all faces are the same size. Okay, and the nice thing about a cube, all faces could be considered a base. Okay, typically bases are just ones that they can pretty much sit on. Okay, typically the bottom and top, those would be your base. Okay, now a face. Okay, the face is the shapes that you see on the three-dimensional shape. Okay, so right there, that would be considered a face. Okay, now on three-dimensional shapes, you'll have multiple faces. In this case, you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces in this case. Okay, so if you were to fold it out, you would have 6 shapes. Now, an edge. Okay, edges are where two faces come together. Okay, so there's an edge, there's an edge, there's an edge, and we can get quite a few edges on those shapes. Now, an attribute are just those specific things on the shape. Okay, the edges, the faces, the bases, those are all attributes to a three-dimensional shape. Okay, so for problem-solving activity then, you're looking at two different two-dimensional shapes. We got a rectangle and a triangle. Okay, and it asks you to draw them as a three-dimensional shape. Okay, so we have the base and the height, or base times width. With those shapes, we needed to include the height, that third dimension. Okay, I just drew them out, and that was what they would look like if you were to draw them as three-dimensional shapes. Okay, and the next part was to ask them to fold them out. Okay, so what you're going to notice, okay, for that rectangular prism that we have there, we got our base. Here would be the base. Okay, that would be that one right there. Then we have to unfold all those other ones. Okay, so those side faces, those would be these faces here. And then unfolding those other three faces, those three faces, that is where you'd get these ones. Okay, so big thing there is we have 6 different faces. Okay, so we had 4 rectangles and then 2 squares there. So when we're looking for those, I need to see 6 faces. Now when we look to the triangular prism, okay, we had 4 faces and they're all going to be triangles, so we'd have all 4 triangles there. This would be the base. And then finally, your other 3 faces, which would be those 3 there. Okay, we'll get into more of those later on, just kind of an intro to three-dimensional shapes. But your homework to this lesson, homework lesson 1, unit 5. Okay, so we got just the 1 page. Okay, so make sure to do that. If you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a good day.